Hi, it's Carl Allen. Welcome to Module 3, Deal Origination. We are 25% of the way through Dealmaker Empire. The first two modules were all about setting the scene, establishing your mindset, and creating your deal strategy and deal specification. Now it's time for the rubber to meet the road, as in this module we'll get into deal origination and deal flow, which is the lifeblood of deal making. Here's what's coming up in module number 3. So this lesson is about a deal flow strategy, which is building a deal origination machine, understanding the principles of a deal origination funnel, and preliminary vetting of potential opportunities. And I have a really simple but effective tool for you to use so you can map your opportunities to your deal specification and rank them. In lesson number 2, we start the 4 primary deal origination tactics, with networking, which is the most important deal origination tactic, which includes attending events, leveraging social media, etc. Lesson number 3 covers the direct approach that I've been using for more than 20 years, and I share some very cool templates for you to use. Lesson number 4 covers business brokers and how to use them correctly, as most people A, rely on them too quickly, and B, don't use them to their full potential. And we'll wrap up as usual with an implementation lesson to keep you accountable and ensure you're taking the action required to keep moving forward. So to that point, make sure that you've created your deal specification from module number 2, because without it, you're not going to be able to complete this module because you won't know what you're looking for. And I don't want you to waste any time in this system. I want you laser focused, and your deal spec, your one sheet, will give you that focus and that clarity. So if you haven't created your deal spec, please go do it right now, then come back to this lesson afterwards. So let's start with the concept of a deal origination machine. Now this is really important and extremely powerful once you implement it. And I'm going to use a sports car as a metaphor for your empire building journey. So imagine you're a Ferrari. Yes, it's my favorite car, raw power, style and presence. That's what I want for you in your empire building. So let me explain. You're the car. Your fuel is your mindset. Your destination is the empire that you want to build, and your purpose, which comes from your deal specification. And your GPS, your roadmap, is this system, the Dealmaker Empire Builder. Now, what's missing is the engine inside the car, inside of your deals. That's your deal origination machine. So here's the system as it's meant to be implemented step by step. Although deal origination is step 3 of 8 steps, it's not a standalone process. It's an ongoing process, almost like a ritual. In reality, deal origination is continuous. You can't start it until module 3 unless you came into this system with a clutch of deals already on your radar and you just need a system to close them. But once you've primed the pump with mindset and your deal spec, originating deals, creating deal flow is something that you will do ongoing. This is really important. So assume you only did it in isolation. You found a few deals, then you stopped originating. If those deals didn't pan out, you don't want to go back and start originating from scratch. You want a constant flow of deals coming through that you can filter and you can prioritize against the ones already inside of your funnel. Now, a deal origination funnel works very similar to a sales funnel. So if you drive sales in your business, and I'm sure that you do, it's rare that you pick one random prospect that translates all the way through to a sale for your business. You start with suspects, people or businesses that you suspect want and need your product or service. And then you qualify them based on their needs and your ability to meet those needs within budget. You know how to do that, or you wouldn't have a business already. But you're constantly filling your sales funnel with opportunities. It may take 10, even 100 suspects that you move through your funnel from suspect to prospect to buyer. So for example, you were probably one out of, say, 100 suspects that bought this system, the Dealmaker Empire Builder, because it isn't for everyone. But now I want you to translate that into your deal making. And your deal origination funnel starts with suspect opportunities. You suspect that they're a good fit for your empire building, and you suspect that the owner wants to sell the business. Next, you qualify just as you do in a sales funnel. but this time you're qualifying versus your deal specification. That's why I need you to have completed it for module number 2. It may take 10 opportunities before you close a deal, even as high as 25, depending on how focused and niche your deal specification is. You're qualifying on how attractive the deal is to you and your ability to make money from it and how related it is to your deal specification. You look at every opportunity presented to you even before you meet the seller of the business, and you determine the likelihood of fit. And your deal specification one sheet will guide you. You can determine these elements before you meet a seller. You can research the business online. If you're originating through a broker, and more on that in lesson number 4, you will have something called a CIM, a confidential information memorandum, or often IM for short. Your skills gap and how this maps to your wealth creation plan will come later, typically after you meet the seller, understand the business model and the people within, and have the data you need to do the financial analysis coming up in module 5. And you need a quick way of separating good deals from bad deals, so you know where to focus your time. And if you originate 100 deals from all the methods I'm about to teach you, you can't go and meet 100 sellers. It's not an efficient use of your time. You need a way of finding those golden nuggets. So here's how to do it. Use this tool to rank your opportunities. You can download it below and even change it to suit your own deal specification. And I've given you the categories and the deal spec that I use, but the process is the same. So first, list your criteria across the top, both your pre-meeting and your post-meeting criteria, which includes any skills gaps and the wealth creation plan data from your deal spec one sheet. For broker deals, if you have the IM and the financials, you may have all the info to complete this part pre-meeting the seller. If not, you may be able to find the criteria online via a web search, Facebook page, LinkedIn page, etc. So list your deals down the side, and this example has 8 deals. So quickly rank each deal across your key criteria. Just a quick eyeball. It should take you no more than 10 to 15 minutes to do each business, maybe even faster. Eyeball them from say 1 to 10. And then the business that ranks the highest, the closest fit to your deal specification, those are the deals that you pursue first. So in this example, you'd be all over deals A, D, and G. Deal B, not so much. The second tab of the download model also allows you to weight the criteria, since some of your requirements may rank higher than others, and weight them from say 0.5 to 3. For example, sector may be absolutely critical to you, so that gets a 3. Location, not so much. You're happy to close deals anywhere, so that's say a 0.5, and the rest of the criteria weight between those two extremes. And when you weight, it may or may not change the ranking. So in this example, deal A is still your go-to opportunity, but play with it and see how it translates to you. Now you have the principles of a deal origination machine, an origination funnel, and how to quickly vet deals and focus your efforts. Let's look at the market data. I was asked a few years back how many businesses are for sale in our 4 target geos, the US, UK, Canada, and Australia. And nobody publishes this data anywhere. I had to build a model to forecast it with tons of sources, and here are some of the highlights. So clearly the US is the biggest market by a wide margin. According to the US Small Business Administration, the SBA, there are a little more than 30 million small businesses inside the US with under $10 million in annual revenues. And the Exit Planning Institute tells us that 66% of these businesses are owned by baby boomers, 10,000 of whom are retiring every single day, according to Forbes. That's just about 20 million boomer-owned businesses, not including bored or frustrated entrepreneurs who want to go and do something else. So there are millions of deals available, but here's what's totally shocking. Across the US, UK, Canada, and Australia, almost 8 million people start a new business every year versus buying one. It's crazy. And just look at the country splits. Let's look at the US, as it is the biggest market opportunity for you. 2.2 million businesses are for sale, yet last year only 206,000 or so were actually sold. That's 1 in 11. The unsold 2 million businesses is your market opportunity. So deals sell less frequently in other countries. It's 1 in 13 in the UK and 1 in 12 in Canada as well as Australia. Why don't more businesses sell? Well, it comes down to 2 major factors. Number 1, there is a major lack of sophisticated buyers for small businesses, hence why I created this system. And number 2, buyers have trouble getting access to capital. This is what module number 7 is all about, how to finance a deal and build your empire using OPM, other people's money. You see, a big part of deal origination comes down to psychology. And with small deals, like the ones I'm teaching here, they are 90% psychology and only 10% numbers. Mega deals, which I've done in my earlier career, are the opposite. They are 90% numbers and only 10% psychology. So let me explain. Take 2 completely identical businesses. Same products, same services, same customers, the same premises, the same employees, the same income statement, same revenues, same profits, same cash flow, the same balance sheet, same assets, same liabilities. Everything's the same. The only difference is the person who owns the business, and more importantly, the psychological state. So take the owner on the left. They're an entrepreneur. Could be someone like you. They're doing great, they're having fun, they're happy, and they're really enjoying life. Now, every business is for sale. It just comes down to price and structure, right? But someone of that positive mindset will want a premium to sell that business, maybe a 5 times profit, maybe more. And that person will want most of that cash paid at closing. So unless you close that deal with an SBA 7A loan or you raise venture capital, more on those in module number 7, that's going to be a really tough deal to close. Alternatively, take the seller on the right. And remember, it's an identical business. Both are perfect fits for your deal specification and your empire build. The difference is the seller psychology. So the seller on the right is older and wants to retire. They may be frustrated, could be sick, even dying in some cases. And not just them, could be a significant family member. Now, this is what I call a distressed seller of a good business. He or she is not happy, not having fun, and wants out, wants to exit. The business is still doing well, but the seller wants to jump off the hamster wheel and into the hammock. That seller is going to sell for 2x to 3x profit and even defer a large amount of the deal into seller financing, which are the future payments made to the seller from the business's future cash flow. We'll jump into that more in module 5 on deal structuring, but this is the seller that you typically want to target. And if you recall, this is part 2 of the perfect deal triad. We covered part 1, your requirements. In module 2, which was deal specification, finding a motivated or distressed seller of a good business is part 2. So that's it for this first lesson. With all these deal origination principles, we'll start cranking up the deal flow in the very next lesson, working effectively with brokers. And I will see you there. Until then, bye for now.